You are listening to the Marc Guzman podcast experience. Okay, so our final topic here is ReMax and Redfin split up. So if you watched or listened to the last episode of Keeping It Realty, we did talk about ReMax basically putting it out there for Compass and for Zillow and Trulia, telling them that if you're going to cross over into our territory as a brokerage, then all bets are off and we're now enemies. I mean, it was kind of like Game of Thrones style-ish, how Redfin CEO came out.
I didn't think real estate would be so exciting.
And so we have ReMax and Redfin now that were partnered up. And basically a little history, in certain areas where Redfin didn't really have a big presence, they would sign up various contracts with ReMax and ReMax agents to where leads that Redfin gets, they would dispatch them out to ReMax. Now, that's those were certain areas. It's not everywhere because Brian, like you pointed out, you have a contract with Redfin to where even some of your agents get Redfin.
Right. In fact, when I was reading this, I didn't realize that that Redfin and ReMax had a thing going on. That was just their own little, private thing. Because Redfin generally has an agreement where they partner with different real estate offices, and it's not necessarily the entire office; it's agents that work within that office. So it's like, as Marc pointed out. I'm accustomed to signing referral agreements where Redfin will refer an agent in my office business and will take a 35% referral fee at the top, which is traditionally higher than what we would normally pay out as a referral fee. But that's because Redfin will split some of those fees off with the buyer for credits towards their non-recurring closing costs. So when this item came out about this almost an exclusive agreement between ReMax and Redfin, kind of took me a little bit by surprise, but I didn't even know that it existed. And it looks like it's not going to be existing for very long.
Yeah, and I guess this was supposed to be a 2-year deal between ReMax and Redfin, and it lasted only 2 months. And they're upset because of Redfin Direct, where they would bypass the buyer agent, and someone going through Redfin Direct would be able to make an offer. A buyer would be able to make an offer directly to a seller.
I wonder how that breakup conversation went. It's not you, it's me. No.
Well, all breakup conversations now are done on Twitter. It's not done in person or anything.
I know. There's Twitter. There's no more nuances to it.
Yeah. So going back to this, it's funny to me because there's a lot of hatred of Zillow, Trulia, these tech companies by big brokerages. And there's a clash going on right now between the traditional brokerage model and newer brokerage models and tech companies that focus on real estate. You have tech companies that focus on real estate like Zillow that get a lot of leads. They have a lot of public attention. They want to use that and leverage it. They're also a publicly traded company to where, hey, they have to respond to the shareholders. And if the shareholders want the business to succeed and make money, well, they're going to be looking at different ways to do that. Then you have Compass, that's a mix between technology and also really a traditional brokerage. And then you have ReMax, that's been your traditional brokerage like Coldwell Banker, Century 21. But then you have Redfin. Redfin's very interesting because
they have W-2 employee real estate agents.
They completely operate completely different than anyone in the industry. And I think the one thing that really scares a lot of people about Redfin is that I really think Redfin is going to be the future of real estate brokerage models. One, you have great tech company through Redfin. So many people, so many buyers will go through Redfin and sign up for listings as opposed to the MLS through their own agent or even through Zillow because Redfin has a great system.
Well, in a prior episode when we were discussing the possibility of real estate offices being forced to withhold taxes from the commissions of their real estate agents and essentially turn 1099 employees into W-2 employees, that's exactly the Redfin model. So you'd see more of that if that law actually passed, which would be a dramatic change in the way real estate offices are run, managing broker and agent or associate broker relationships.
Yeah, and Redfin's got a model to where they developed the technology to get the leads, just as good as Zillow or any other company. They get these leads, and then because they have agents that are on W-2 payroll, they're able to control everything that the agent does. So where Redfin really excels has been in customer service. They've been able to basically tell their agents that work for them, hey, we want you to be part of this process, and here's how we're going to operate, which is why you can go onto your mobile phone and order, a showing within an hour,
Yeah.
and you have a Redfin agent that shows up to show you the property. So they have really excelled in customer service, and I think that's really going to be the future of real estate brokerages. And I think that's why a lot of people are scared. And the fact that Redfin is now testing and figuring out a way to get rid of the buyer agent, which at the end of the day, it reduces expenses for consumers. And if you have a company like that that's reducing expenses for a consumer, it's a very dangerous company to compete against. Very hard to compete against that. And it's understandable why people are not liking Redfin and why ReMax is cutting the deal. But at the same time, I think ReMax has been behind the times for many years now.
Right. And at one point, they were actually the leader in the industry, coming up with very innovative ideas that kind of changed the industry and actually had butterfly effects that led to what you see in Redfin and Zillow and Encompass today.
Yep.